The pulse of the country right now. Let's go out to Pete Hegseth. He's in Dubuque, West Dubuque, at the West Dubuque Tap for breakfast, where it's 5:36 in the morning. Good morning to you, Pete.
Yeah, that's right. It's 5:36, and it's packed with an awesome crowd of folks here in Dubuque. And we're talking about everything across the board, including, of course, politics as we pass the 100-day mark. This was a key county in the election, a county that for the previous 4 cycles went for Democrats, but in this cycle went for then candidate Trump and now President Trump. We're trying to get a sense away from the pundits and the Beltway and everyone in Washington, D.C. How do they feel President Trump is doing on the key issues of the day? I'm seated here with Patrick, Lewis, and Chris. Is it? Krista, sorry about that, Krista. Patrick, you're an organic dairy farmer from here in Dubuque. What are the issues right now that matter to you the most?
One of the most important things is that we need to be setting up for a government shutdown in the fall so that we can really drain the swamp.
So you want him to go to Washington and shake up the whole system?
I'd like to see the government shut down in the fall, and I wanted Trump to put the people in place at this moment that it's a government shutdown that doesn't hurt, as opposed to an Obama government shutdown where the goal is to make the people hurt as much as possible.
Okay, so you're looking for more confrontation. Certainly, there's been a lot so far. Lois, I got to ask you, you're both small business owners, construction company actually. Yeah. The House is going to vote today, likely, on a repeal and replacement of Obamacare. How important is that to you, and how important are other issues?
The health insurance is very important because you do have, for the employees, even myself, health insurance is very expensive to buy right now. We need to get more companies involved, more insurance companies, to make the insurance more reasonable so everybody can afford it.
Yeah, I mean, did you hear the news that the last insurer in the Obamacare exchange is likely to leave Iowa? So it's sort of poetic that today is the vote in the House to do so. Are you hopeful that this repeal and replace could, if it passes and is signed by the president, could actually bring premiums down?
Yes, I'm very hopeful that that will happen.
Well, that's what we think we all are, for sure. Chris, I have to ask you, as you both are part of the small business together, when you look at regulations, when you look at tax reform, what other issues might be most important to you as a small business owner?
The regulations, I've seen a lot of changes coming, which is optimism for myself, so we don't have to hire more staff to perform paperwork, because we're good at what we do. Our people building, we're builders, we're not paperwork people. And for a lot of projects we're involved in, it takes years, the paperwork, to get through the wetlands and issues. So I'm very optimistic of the future, and I want our employees to prosper. So if we have better paying jobs coming, it'll be good for all the employees.
Sure. I got to ask, too, about the Stephen Colbert episode, the back and forth going on. What do you make of that? Good, decent people. Is there a double standard of how he conducts himself and how he's perceived?
Yes. Yes. The jokes he gives, I don't think are very funny, but if a Republican had given those jokes, treated totally different, it would be everyone go out and protest that person, make them want to quit.
Sure. Well, we've got also we're going to get to a couple of Democrats later on as well, who are county officials that supported President Trump. We've got one right here as well, ma'am. What's your name?
Catherine.
Catherine, you didn't support President Trump. You still do not. What's the biggest issue you see? Real quickly, biggest issue you see?
I guess his lack of regard for our Constitution and for who we are as a people and our morals as a people, and his human rights violations, and is not telling the truth, his alternative facts.
So we've got to leave it right there. Unfortunately, we'll hopefully get more with that. We're running on a hard break. We got so much to talk about. We'll be here all morning at the West Dubuque Tap talking politics. Thanks, guys.